This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, welcome to How to Apply for Financial Aid. My name is Christina Winstead, and I'm the Assistant Director for Outreach at the Washington Student Achievement Council. I work with the 12th Year Campaign. This video is part of a series of videos for Financial Aid Advising Day to help you understand the financial aid process. What we're really hoping here is to encourage everybody to apply for financial aid. There's so much money out there, but unless you apply, you won't get it. You have to apply for aid or you won't be considered for these funds. So today's video, we're going to walk you through the financial aid process and the basics of applying for aid. Today, you're going to learn about when you should apply for financial aid, what information you're going to need to apply, how to apply. We have some help and resources and some next steps. We try to always go over what's important today and your biggest takeaways. The reason why this is so important is because if you understand the process of applying for aid, it makes it so much easier than going into it without knowing. Applying for financial aid, it's, I would say, the most important step for funding your education. For me personally, why this is important to me is because without financial aid, I wouldn't have gone to college. I didn't apply for financial aid my first quarter of college, and I worked 3 jobs in the mall and worked and went to school full time. And so for me, it was very hard. In my second quarter, I applied for financial aid. I didn't know how to do it. No one showed me. And then I finally went to the college my second quarter, and someone asked if they could help me with it. And we sat down for an hour, and I got a full state knee grant, which was money I didn't have to pay back to go to school. They gave me money to go to college. If I had known earlier how easy it was to apply and how easy it was going to make my life, I would have done it my senior year of high school. But instead, I did it my freshman year of college, and I don't want that for you all. I want you all to have all the information you need to apply and get all that money. My goal for you is that you will graduate your post-secondary programs with all the funding that you need, or as much funding as possible, with the littlest amount of debt as possible. Because the reality is that in a very short period of time, you will be taking over this world. You will be running the show, and I want you to have the careers that you love that earn you a livable wage when you have to take over. So, financial aid opens October 1st. It is my favorite month of the year, not just because of financial aid, it's all the great things that come with fall and October, but October 1st. So, as soon as it starts getting all pumpkin spice and everything nice out there, it's time to start thinking about filing for financial aid. The information you're going to need to apply for financial aid: you will need your driver's license or state ID if you have one. If you don't, it's okay. You can select that you don't have one. If you are applying for the FOSFA, you're going to need your at least to know your social security number or your permanent resident number. You're going to need some income information. And if you're considered dependent, you may also have to provide this information. Your parents will have to provide the same information. So there's a video in this series that asks who has to provide information for financial aid. I encourage you to watch that video to see if you are dependent or independent to help you determine whose information is going to be required for financial aid. So income information includes bank statements, W-2 if you were working, and if you filed taxes in 2019, so last year, then you're also going to include that information as well. It's okay if you didn't. Maybe you worked a little bit, but you didn't file taxes. That's fine. You're just going to select that you didn't file taxes, and you're just going to put in how much you earned. Additional financial information that you may need or your parents specifically may need are going to be child support payments, any information about TANF benefits, and then real estate investments, family business, and farm info. And what that means is these are an assessment of your assets. Real estate investments means homes that you're buying beyond the home that you live in, so rental properties. Family businesses and farm info would be if you have a family business or a farm with 100 or more employees. If you don't, then you won't list it in there. So for the WAFSA, this is what the first page starts with, a privacy statement. I encourage you to read the privacy statement so you understand how your data is being used. The WAFSA is the Washington application for state financial aid. There are 2 applications for financial aid in Washington State, and I encourage you to watch our video on FOSFA or WAFSA in this series to determine which application you need to apply for. If you're applying for the WAFSA, you're going to start a new WAFSA as a new user. You're going to be creating your account. You're going to be applying, if you're the class of 2021, you'll be applying for the 2021-2022 application, which doesn't open until October 1st. So you won't see it online yet. There's 2 applications for financial aid open every year. It's critical that you select the correct application. So you're going to be in high school for the year 2020, 2021. You're going to be in college for 2021, 2022. That's when you're applying for funding. You're going to put your basic information, and then you're also going to have your parents' information that you're going to enter in as well if you're considered dependent. So it'll ask about your student demographics, so who you are, where you went to high school, your address, things like that, information about Washington. It's going to ask what your educational plans are. Are you going to a 2-year school, 4-year school? What are your plans? And it's okay if they're not set in stone, and it's okay if they change. It's going to determine if you're a dependent or independent student. There's a video in our series that will help you understand that as well. And then it's going to ask for your income and then your parents' tax data as well and your parents' information. And then you're going to select up to 10 schools that have that information sent to. Once you've done that, then you're going to select a electronic signature process and you're going to sign your application by putting in your first and last name, your password from the system, the current city you're in, and your current state. And that will count as your signature. Then you're going to select your parent to sign the application as well. Once that's done, you'll submit the application, and when you submit your application, it's then sent to the schools that you listed on there. It's a pretty simple process, but if you get confused, it's okay, don't worry. We'll have financial aid events that are open in the fall for free to help you virtually with this process. So if you get stuck, don't worry, just reach out to us, come to one of our events. We'll be happy to help you with the process. If you're applying for the FOSFA, your first step is creating an FSA ID. And we have a video in this series called How to Create an FSA ID. It's like 11 minutes long and it'll help walk you through creating your FSA ID, which is the first step to creating an account. There are 3 options for applying for the FOSFA. You can apply online through the website, through the app on your phone, and the paper FOSFA. The website and the app are the quickest ways to process your application, so I highly encourage you to use the website or the app. If you for some reason have to use the paper application, that's okay. It takes longer to process though. The FOSFA is available in 2 languages. It's available in English and in Spanish. The biggest thing is when you're working on your application, this is what the main page looks like, is that only one person's in your application at a time. So if you are putting in information for your application and your parent wants to input their information for your application, they're going to have to wait. Only one person can be in the application at a time. You're going to take that FSA ID that you created and you're going to log in with that FSA ID. It's then going to import the basic student demographic information from your FSA ID into this page. So it'll include your first name, middle name, your last name, and date of birth, as well as your SOCH. It's going to ask for parent information if you're considered dependent. So in the FOSFA, you'll pick out your colleges you want to go to. You're going to determine if you're dependent or independent, and then it's going to ask for parent information. The application for financial aid is for the student themselves. So I have students who will be concerned if their parent doesn't have a social security number, they worry that it'll impact their application for federal financial aid. And that's not the case. It's based upon the student and their circumstance is how you're going to determine which application you're going to do. If your parent doesn't have a social security number, that's okay. They're just going to put zeros in instead of a SOCH into this box. Now, if your parent has an ITIN number, they may want to put it in there. They do not want to use their ITIN number. They want to use zeros. So you're going to put in your zeros. And then when you click next, it's going to say there's an error. And that's okay. You're going to enter the zeros in another time and click next. It's probably going to say there's an error again. It's just one of those things about the system. You're going to hit the enter in those zeros one more time. The third time is the charm. You're going to click next and it's going to move you on to the next page and resolve that error. So again, if you're seeing an error after putting in zeros, enter the zeros in again and click next. You are correct by adding zeros. Please only use zeros. If you don't, it'll create an error in your application. If your parent has a social security number, then they just put their social security number in there. Here's some important tips. You want to remember that this application for financial aid is for the student themselves. So when it says you and yours, it means the student. So we want to make sure that means you as the student, but when your parent is reading it, they may think it's for them. This is an application for you. Like I said before, only sign in one person at a time so it doesn't trick the system. When you are logging in, if it says there's an error on the web, I encourage you to use a different browser because sometimes that's the issue. If you're stuck at any question on the application, click on the blue question mark and it'll explain the question a little bit more. Again, I'm going to reiterate, make sure that your parent is using their social security number, and if they don't have a social, they're going to use zeros. That's the most common mistake. So your biggest, and then making sure you apply for the right year for financial aid. So the 2021-2022 application. We have resources through our 12th year campaign. We have a junior senior workbook that will navigate you through financial aid and admissions. College Knowledge also has information about financial aid, all about the FAFSA and WAFSA. The College Knowledge information comes in 5 languages: English, Somali, Vietnamese, Russian, and Spanish. And then finally, if you need more help, we're here to help. We've got Otter, he's our texting service. Otter will respond back to you if you have questions about financial aid. You can text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's all automated. If you have a question for Otter that Otter can't answer, we will make sure we respond back to you. And all you have to do is just text Hi Otter to 360-928-7281. If you don't know where to start, you're like, I don't even know what my pathway is yet. That's okay. Don't worry. You can use our College and Career Compass Washington. There are over 4,000 pathways now listed on there, and it'll look at your interests and goals and help determine maybe some pathways that would be a good fit for you. Explore everything that you love to do that earns a livable wage. Not everything you love to do will earn that livable wage, but some things that you do love will. Like for me personally, I'm a dork and I love financial aid. I know it's really, you're probably laughing to yourself right now, but I love helping students navigate where they are now and how to get to that career for the cheapest price possible. I want you to have all the benefits of a post-secondary education with the least amount of debt possible. That's what makes me happy. I also love crafting and watching scary movies. Am I going to earn a livable wage doing that? No. For those of you who said yes about the crafting, thank you so much for your belief in my ability. I'm a horrible crafting person. Those of you who know me know that that's true. And so instead of crafting, I get to do this amazing stuff by day, and then by night I can do all the things that don't earn livable wage. I want the same thing for you. So think about what you love to do and think about what earns livable wage. And then if you're not sure which school to go to, attend a NACAC virtual college fair. These are free fairs for you to go to. They're on September 13th, October 12th, October 18th, and November 8th. You just have to sign up and you can virtually meet with hundreds of different colleges and see if what's a good fit for you. So your next steps, you're going to start your application for financial aid starting October 1st. You're going to attend a virtual event if you need any help applying for financial aid. We'll have at least 6 statewide events and then lots of regional events as well. And then start exploring your colleges by attending a virtual college fair. See what's out there. Find what the best fit for you is as an individual. If you have questions, your final step is always going to be reaching out to us. Reach out to your counselors as well. You can reach out to Otter, but if you have a question and you need help, you have to reach out. Unfortunately, we're not psychic. If we were, we'd have different jobs, but until you reach out to us, we don't know that you need that help. So reach out if you have questions, and good luck with all your application, and we are here to help you. Thank you so much and enjoy our video series.